And we will be talking to Jessie and Rochelle about foster care and what you can do or how you can get involved. Just waiting for them to pop up on the screen, ladies. There they are. Hello, beautiful girlfriend. How are you? Hi,
Good, how
Rochelle.
are
Nice to
you?
meet you. So I am so excited for this. I know that, Jessie, you've had 6 foster children.
Yes.
Yes. All the way from babies to you had a teenage girl.
Yep.
So you've had all the roundabout.
Yep.
Um,
4 days old to 16 years old.
it's crazy. And I've been around for all of them.
Yes, you
I
have.
love watching the progress you make. And little Sour Patch is doing good.
Yes, he is.
Aw, so
Loving the
happy.
new school.
Oh, good, good, good. So you guys, what do you, so Rochelle, how are you involved in foster?
I'm involved in foster. I started out as a social worker and handled that side more on the case management side, and then went over into licensing. And so my goal now is to find more foster parents because we are in dire need of more foster parents
Mm.
for our kids. And then once we get new foster parents, I'm a licensing rep for those foster parents. So, like for example, Jessica, I'm her licensing rep, and so I'm there for her for support in any way that she needs it, really. And we offer, different trainings and just, sometimes just simply there to vent about things and talk about things
Mhm.
and kind of guide them through the process and required trainings that might come up down the road and stuff as well. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, I do know the one thing that like broke my heart. The little guy you have now, the sweetheart, Jess. You
Yeah.
said he was in 13 foster homes in a year. Am I
We're,
right?
yep, we're his 13th home. Yep.
And that
Yeah.
is awful. That's awful for those children.
Mhm.
So can you guys, one of you guys, explain all the different like types of foster? Like some people, like I just went, "Oh, you're a foster mom," but there are so many. When you sent me this, I was like, "Wait, what?" So can you explain like the different levels?
Mhm. Sure, sure. And I think that might be a huge misconception that people get, and it
Mm-hmm.
might even make them sway away or not inquire more about fostering because they might have originally the first impression of if I foster, I might have this child for 3, 4 years, who knows how long, how long is it going to impact my life? But there's actually a lot of different needs that we have in foster parents and a couple different types of fostering. It's all kind of under the same category as far as the same training goes, but there are different types of needs that we need. So, for example, I would say like a long-term need is we might place a child in a home and we don't really know where the case is going to go. It might be at the very beginning of the case where that could last, let's say, minimum of 12 months, and it could go much longer. And that could be more of a long-term need that we need a foster parent to be in there for the long haul. Then we might have what's called more of a short-term placement need, where, for example, we know the child's going home, or we're hoping, if everything goes well, that the child might go home in a few months. So it might just be more of a shorter placement need. And then we have respite. That falls into the category more of like some of our foster parents might, they need a break or they can't take the child with them to a wedding or to a funeral or something like that. It's not really appropriate. So then we have respite. And that's usually when other foster parents will pitch in and take the kiddo for a weekend or something like to help each other out. And then another type is called emergency. We rolled out a pilot program a year or so ago, what was called our emergency program, and that is a little bit unique. It's kind of separate from these other programs, and what that falls into is we would pay the foster parent a certain amount as a monthly payment. And in addition, they also get the board payment, which is the daily fee to take care of the child as well. The only thing is they have to be available and they have to keep the child for 30, no more than 60 days. And so they would take the placement for no more than 60 days. Um, and those are the kiddos that sometimes we just can't find a placement for, or they might be waiting for a residential housing option, and it's not available right now. There's a variety of things, but basically those are like we call you, well, often sometimes we call last minute anyways just to see if we run into a situation, but those are emergency homes, and on those homes you typically have to take the child. It's not a lot of those don't have as many options. You have to
Mm-hmm.
pretty much take the child's placement, but that's why you're getting that extra fee a month as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then a newer one that's we're just kind of trying out is called our crisis program. And that's going to be more like you're just kind of on the list that you're available in a crisis situation. So if you have the room, we tell you about the kiddo, you get to decide if you can help us out and take the kiddo, but you're at least on the list of a crisis situation because we run into that a lot. Sometimes we'll get a foster parent that just says, take the child, I'm done. We fortunately in our agency we don't have a whole lot of that. We have our share, but we have really good foster parents in Lutheran Social Services. So, but that is an issue that comes up, and it can be for a variety of reasons. And then also some of our foster parents are interested in adoption. So sometimes we have homes that just want to focus on taking placements that a child's goal, meaning that is what the court has changed their goal to is adoption, and they might just want a child that's available for adoption, but along the way they're open to taking placements in one of these other categories before they find a child that they can adopt.
Mm-hmm. So I would guess that a priority, as long as it's safe, and would be reunification.
That's the
Depending on
goal.
the situation. Yeah. And I mean, I knew nothing about foster till Jessie started. And listen, any kid that goes into her home has won the lottery tenfold.
Right.
So I've watched the journey. So what is some of the process of getting to be a licensed foster parent?
As far as the process goes, I can tell you more of the technical stuff, and then Jesse can share with you more of
Mm-hmm.
the fun pros and cons of it. As far as getting licensed, typically we start out all household members that are over 18 have to be fingerprinted. So we screen them pretty hard. We run them through everything, anything and everything, background checks. They get fingerprinted. Any kids in the home that are 13 and older, we also have them sign a fingerprint form, but it's not an intense background check like the others. And then you do training. So it's around 31 hours of training. It's all online. If you want to go in person, you certainly can, but it's much easier. You can do it online. You can do it yourself. You can do it self-paced, so you do it at your own pace, or you can have an instructor-led training course as well. And then we do a home assessment. We make sure your home is equipped. It's got, everything that's needed in the home, and it's safe for the child to be placed in the home and get licensed. And then, of course, we have 1,000 documents that we have to go through and sign that provide
It's
some
like buying a
guidelines.
house or a car.
It's probably more, yeah, more documents, but it's like it's not as like buying a house could be the language is a little foreign, like it seems like a foreign language, but this is a little bit easier. And the process itself, it's supposed to take about 8 weeks, but if our background unit is running behind, it can take around 3 months or so. But as soon as you're licensed, we typically are ready to place a child in your home. So, and Jessie can share some more on the pros and cons on that because she's been doing this a while and she's very knowledgeable.
I love it. So
Yeah,
Jess, tell us.
it was very interesting because the one of the other options Rochelle didn't mention how I actually started was a fictive kin situation. So I actually was a relative of the foster child that I ended up having. And so we were able to get him, and then I later then took the courses to then change my license to a traditional license where then I can get any foster child. I think one of the things people don't realize too is like how Rochelle said with the emergency placement, you have to take the child, but in other programs you get to choose. So each time that email gets sent out or somebody gives me a call, like I'm able to get the descriptions of what's going on, assess the needs of that child, and then my fiance and I, we get to look at and go, okay, can this person fit in our home? Can we provide for this person? So Danielle and I get to make that decision, and so every step of the way, it's a joint process, but yeah, getting that call, I see that it come up, and I'm like, okay, here we go.
Oh yeah, and
I think I blocked on many people's phones. They put me on do not disturb after certain hours.
Yeah, and I can remember getting texts from you, Jessie, going, okay, well, we got 1 of 3. We got to figure out which one's going to fit. And I'm just like, let me know once you get the wish list. I just shoot you what you need,
Absolutely. I have to say that we couldn't do this without people like Susie in our life, because we have a great support system, and it's been so blessing to not like to get the child and then, acclimate for, a couple of weeks, assess what kind of physical things they need, clothes, school supplies, whatever it is. And we were able to kind of put together an Amazon wish list and like send it to our friends and family, and they then go crazy, and get our children what they physically need, because sometimes we've had the kids come from with nothing. I mean, obviously the 4-day-old had nothing, and then the 16-year-old had like bags and bags and bags and bags of stuff. So we're able to assess and use that support system. So I say, if you're know who your people are,
Mhm.
you're thinking about fostering, because it's a saying, but it's true, it takes a village. Whether they're your own natural children or nieces, nephews, or in this situation, have your village, and we're so glad to have Susie be a part of that village.
Aw, love you guys. I just remember how you've had all boys, and then when
We
you
had
got
all boys, yeah, out
your
of the six,
teenage girl, you were
5 boys.
excited beyond belief to have a teenage girl. And then I was like, how's that teenage girl? And you're like, oh my God, teenage girls are crazy.
Well, I have a bonus daughter from a previous relationship, and I was like, oh, she was like the easiest out of the three, because there was 2 boys and a girl. So I was very excited. I was like, oh, she was a breeze. My nieces, we have great relationships. So I was like, okay, I'm okay, enough with these boys. I really don't know what to do with these boys. And then I realized, Jessie, you had that bonus daughter before social media. I believe by the time I separated from her mom, I think like Snapchat was just new, and Facebook, you still had to be in college
Oh,
to have it.
okay.
So, yeah, it was definitely more interesting with social media, dealing with a teenage girl than when my previous experience. So yeah, it was fun,
I
but
just the videos
love
of you
her
guys
dearly.
painting nails, and I was like,
Yes.
so do you guys have some of the I can't say the word statistics on like what kids are out there in the system and what do they need?
Yeah, I mean, I can share a little bit of the statistics, kind of the hard numbers of things. And this all comes from DCFS. We're an agency. We basically sort of, I guess you could say, contract with DCFS. But so this would be the total numbers
Okay.
in the state of Illinois. So I have to put my old lady glasses on here. This is of May 31st. That was the last time the most recent report came out. So just give you an idea. So out of all the children in all the counties, there are around 17,659 children in care right now.
Wow.
Yeah. And of the placements of where those kiddos are, there's about 7,000 of those are in licensed foster homes. So like Jessie, she's a licensed foster home. And then the other ones like relative, we call those HMRs. That's kind of a home of relative, and that also falls into the category of fictive kin, which is basically a friend of the family. There's about 9,200 of those children are in family or friends' homes. And then the other ones are kind of in miscellaneous places. As far as Kane County, there is about 327 kiddos total in Kane County. DePage is about 317. DeKalb is 100. Kendall County is 132. Cook County always has the most. They're at 4,400 in Cook County.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, and we take like pretty much every agency, ours included, even though we are in Kane County and Aurora, we have offices all over the place, but we have one in Cook County also. But we our foster parents can end up taking placements from a child that's in any county. So doesn't just fall into one county. It could
Mhm.
be in any county. It typically follows where the family was. So and then as far as like I found it interesting because I just read these numbers a while back when I was doing a presentation at a church. I was kind of surprised as far as male and female. So the females, out of the 17,000 females, is about 8,700, and males is 8,900. I actually thought that number would be a little different, so I was really
Wow.
surprised to see
I'm
that.
surprised
Yeah.
to hear that too.
Yeah, I was really surprised. As far as the age group goes, and this one actually surprised me too. For 0 to 5, 6,800 kiddos are in youth and care. 6 to 12-year-old age group, 5,700. 13 to 17-year-olds was 3,500, and then our 18 and older, those ones were around 1,500. So I was a little surprised to see some of these numbers. I was kind of shocked actually. And then let me see what other stats I have here for you. As far as like the emergency placements, we've got youth that are in emergency placements. So that'd be like the shelters or foster homes for more than 30 days, or they're in psychiatric hospitals, meaning they are in the hospital, trying to get that mental health care that they
Mm-hmm.
need. That could fall in that, or they could be in a detention center also. Just temporarily, once they get out of a detention center, if the home they were in previously won't take them back, then we're having to find another home for them, and that can be a bit challenging depending on the foster parents, the comfort
Mm-hmm.
there. So as far as that goes, as far as the numbers, as far as those numbers, percentages, those that are in emergency placements is about 10%. Psychiatric hospitals, about 12.5%. Those that are in detention facilities, it's about 17%. Those that are in emergency rooms for more than 24 hours, and that basically means if they are in an emergency room for more than 24 hours, but they're waiting for a psychiatric hospital bed. Um, Often there are none. So they
Wow.
stay in the hospital longer. And sometimes when they are getting released, so they're basically considered, they don't need medical help anymore in psychiatric hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
Often we don't have beds for them. We don't have foster homes available for them at that time. So they could have to stay in there longer, in the psychiatric hospital longer, even though they are past medical necessity. They don't need
Mm-hmm.
it any longer. And that's really sad. And often what happens is they'll end up coming back, and then they stay in our office when we don't have homes. And
Wow.
and we don't have it. We're not a 5-star. We have a
The
couch and a
office is not
playroom.
comfortable.
No, it's not a place. It's not a comfortable place for our kiddos. So that just kind of gives you an idea of the statistics of what we're dealing with, and the kids that are really need
Mm-hmm.
a home. They really need homes, and we just don't have the foster homes.
Yeah.
We have more placement needs than we do foster homes.
Well, and I think parents, people, if your kids are grown, maybe your kids are a little older, and you've got those spare rooms, and you've got a
Mhm.
little bit of spare time, because it may be a little bit of spare time, it might be a lot of spare time. What type of things, like Jessie, okay, so you've had emergent, you've had
Mhm.
Victicam, you've had all sorts. So what sort of support do you get through the system?
Well, obviously there's the payment to help supplement different things that the kids need. There's all sorts of different programs through the agency or through CASA, or even then just locally to like get clothes or school supplies that help with that. The agency also has a support group, so it's a bunch of the foster parents once a month get together, and we can either ask questions to other foster parents or to the licensing agent or to a caseworker. How can you help with this, or what's this?
Mm-hmm.
And then of course, then you're just your people. Knowing other. What's great is I have friends in all sorts of age groups, so I've been able to like every placement we've had, I've been able to go like, okay, I can talk to this person because they also have a 6-year-old, or okay, this
Mm-hmm.
person has a teenager. What are we doing here? So I've been grateful to have someone close to me that has a child kind of at the same age,
Mm-hmm.
or even a grandchild at the same age. So that just each other is probably the biggest thing. But the agency and the system, they do provide a lot of with their trainings, so you can go further into what's required about how to help kids with trauma, how to right now my current placement is on the spectrum, so I've got trainings coming up that are going to talk specifically about how to help kids who are on the spectrum and get their needs and your support system, so that you know how to, your mental health obviously as a parent, as a person is very important, as well as the child. So
Mm-hmm.
there's like all different kinds of programs. I will say that I've been licensed at 2 different agencies, and this agency has been the most supportive and the most, I can call the caseworker or the case manager or even Rochelle and just spew like just whatever happened, just vent about something, not really looking for a solution, just needing somebody to just
Oh yeah,
who
that's what
understood.
all parents need to vent sometimes, somehow, some way. And I would,
Yeah,
so
so
out of all the kids you've had, I know your little ones, I would probably, and I could be speaking, the little one you have now probably is the most challenging.
I would say so, but in different ways. Honestly, I think our girl was probably the most challenging, only because we felt that we couldn't really connect with her.
Mm-hmm.
And we definitely weren't the right fit for her to flourish.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to be, but that was probably mentally the most challenging because it
Mm-hmm.
was
Well, I love
how
that
to
this little guy
connect.
calls you Mama Jessie.
Yes, we're
Mhm.
Mama Jessie and Mama Danny.
Uh-huh.
He's the funniest goof. He's such a goofball.
All right, so
He's the
we're
cutest.
getting down to the wire. We've only got what,
Yeah.
about a minute left? So if people
Mm.
need to get a hold of you, Rochelle, how would we
Mhm.
get a hold of Rochelle to start the ball rolling? What would we do?
Yeah, I would say they can call me is probably the best, or email me. Would you like me to
Yep.
provide my phone number?
Yep.
Okay,
Go ahead
it's
and say it, and then I'm going to have you text it all to me so I can put it on our Facebook page.
sure, it's 224-325-4170, or they can also email me at it's ROCHELLE.TRAUB@lssi.org. Those would be two good places to contact me.
Great. And I will take all that information. I will put it on the WRMN Facebook page. I'll also share it on my personal page because this is near and dear to my heart with Jessie and Danny. I appreciate you guys. And that was a lot of information. So if you've ever even considered being a foster parent, call, ask questions. You may be surprised that you are the perfect fit for a child for 24 hours, 2 weeks, a year, or permanently. Kiddos need
Yep.
places to go. So thank you guys for taking time today. I appreciate you both so much. And yeah, if I can get your word out, I certainly will. Elliot and I will do our best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Susie.
so much.
Love you,
Thank
Jess.
you. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks for being here, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.